Good morning. Man, so formal today. Like a microphone, nameplates. Wow. I mean, I shaved around it, so it accentuates it a little bit. Well, welcome back, everybody. Exciting to be back. Exciting to be, preparing for this next round. Off day was nice for everybody. Getting a chance to rest a little bit. We talked about these guys really were pushed hard towards the end of the season, so getting a day to kind of reset the clock, reset the body, reset the mind. And then getting everybody out last night, to run through some BP and some fundamentals and whatnot. I thought it was really good to get those guys back out there, and it was good to, just kind of be around each other again. And, today our first intra-squad scrimmage. Looking forward to that and these guys getting, game-like reps, and that's the intent. This is all about preparation for what's coming Saturday, and the more game-like we can make these 2 days, the better off we'll be, and that's the intent, and getting our guys prepared for what's ahead.
Dan, you got starters for your weekend yet? Starting pitchers for your weekend yet?
Yeah, we're still, because we have the week here, we're still kicking everything around, and we'll probably announce that closer to Friday, what we've decided. So, it's a good problem to have, and to be able to take this time and do it and think it through is smart.
Is slotting on that based on Brian's health or also the opponents you could be playing?
I mean, it's you take into consideration everything, and it includes thinking about what the playoff roster might look like as well. Lots of different factors to take into account, and I think that is an advantage to having this week, is to kind of see how things play out with opponents, with where you are as a club, all the different things that come into play, and you look at it all. We had a good session yesterday. You start talking about it and trying to put it all together, so we'll continue to do that as the week progresses, and announce it closer to Friday. Yeah, again, it seems like things are going according to plan, I think again we'll get off the mound on Thursday, and so I'm getting a chance to hear how he comes back on that on Friday and whatnot. So, I think that's according to plan and keeps progressing forward. So, again, we'll just, see how that rolls as well. That's a part of it as well.
Are you still optimistic you'll be on the
I mean, at this point, and again, it's just a continue to take it day by day and assess, and I do believe that, we're in a good spot with that.
Is that off the mound in terms of a bullpen or basic hitters?
A bullpen situation, yeah.
How are Josh and Victor doing after getting those couple days off?
Yeah, again, much needed days for those guys, as we've talked about, pushing a lot of guys hard towards the end. But I think the day off, day and a half off was really good for a lot of guys, and especially the guys that were nursing a little bit of something here or there. So I think, in terms of that, I think, we're in much better shape than we were, towards the end of the season. So it's good that these guys were able to get this break. I think, the bye week, you can say all you want about it, but I do think in terms of some of our guys, getting that rest was big.
What's the format going to look like for the scrimmage today?
Yeah.
After your starting lineup, or are you sort of guys wanting to work?
It's mostly our bullpen guys today, we do have some taxi squad players here as well that will help out likely tomorrow. But getting most of our bullpen guys in today and tomorrow, and then having our guys get some at bats against them, and continue to see that live. ABs at live pitching, and I think we're going to try to mix and match. It's not going to be your standard lineup and that, but we're going to try to do what we can to get as many at bats to guys and keep it as competitive as we can.
Do you envision some of those taxi squad guys getting at bats?
Again, it'll just kind of depend on how the game goes and whatnot. But we're super appreciative that these guys took the time out to be here and to help us out. We want to do what we can.
Colt Emerson, one of the people on the taxi squad, just from your playing days, how rare is that for a top prospect to get a chance to compete or be around now a division championship winning team in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great experience, no question. And he has had a great season, and got a chance to play a little bit AAA towards the end of the year. And then to kind of add this, to understand what playoff baseball is like and to be around that in some way. Again, I think our organization does such a great job from top to bottom in its player development, and this is kind of part of a player's development as well. And it's not just Colt Emerson; it's everybody that's involved here. And again, we can't thank these guys enough, to accept it and be a part of it and want to be here and help us out. So we're very grateful for that, and we're just excited that we got these 2 days here now to kind of really get ourselves ramped up and prepared.
Dan, what's your message to the team been since you've been on the other side of this playoff run as a player with the Mariners?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yesterday, all you have to do is watch the games and know that it's the little things that are going to matter here in the postseason, and it's always that way. To see the Cleveland-Detroit game, with a runner at third and a rundown between, home and third from a pitcher, it doesn't take long to understand, those are the things that win and lose games, and other stuff during that game that made a big difference that were little things. So, we talked about that yesterday, and just the importance of that. And so, those are the kind of messages I think that make the difference this time of year. And it's not going to be a big thing. It'll be a little thing, and here or there, and making sure we're covered and we know how we want to attack those situations.
Yeah, how close were you watching that game between Cleveland and Detroit? Like, were you watching it intently? Were you watching it from a fan perspective? Were you already starting to do some scouting?
I mean, in some ways, both, right? Like you have played against these guys, you do have a pretty good understanding of who they are as players, but also, just kind of trying to take it in and just to see, again, just to kind of get a feel for the emotion of it, what goes on in those games, and again, it is amazing when especially when in those first few games when you've got your aces out there, just there isn't a lot of offense, and it is a lot of little things that make a big difference, and that was certainly the case yesterday in that one.
How are you preparing for the postseason? Just whether it's mentally, tactically, just knowing that the stakes are so high that the game can speed up really quickly?
Yeah, again, I think there's a delicate balance between trying to do more or something different or something bigger, just because it's the postseason. I think, a lot of things that you talk about with players is, understanding your identity, who you are, and the things you do well, and those are the things you lean into. And I think the same would be true for a coach or a manager. You don't want to. It's not time to change. It's time to continue and be consistent. And I think that's kind of the approach I'm taking, and that's the way I looked at it as a player too. It's just because it's postseason doesn't mean you have to go do something different. It just means you need to go out and play to your strengths and do what you do. It's your identity that's important.
When you talk about identity, how would you describe this team's identity?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of talk about it all year long, but on the mound, we're a team that's going to attack the strike zone. We're going to attack it early. On offense, it's a team that grinds out at bats, and we drive the ball into the gaps, and we drive the ball to the ballpark, and that's what we do. We create offense on the bases as well. After we grind out our ABs, so that's the kind of team we are, and that's the kind of team we're going to continue to be, and that's what makes us successful.
You don't see many teams get two high impact everyday guys as the season goes on. Your corner infielders. How much did those moves and those additions impact the team you have now?
Yeah, I mean, I think just as those two guys, their experience. We've talked a lot about Josh and his ability, his edge that he plays with, his desire to win. Gino and the impact he has in the clubhouse in terms of energy and keeping guys calm. So when you look at, yes, they clearly with the home runs and their ability to hit. Their ability to play, outstanding defense as well. They're going to help you on the field, but I think also what they have done has helped us off the field and in the clubhouse, and that's been a big addition as well.
There were some dazzling starting and pitching performances. Your starters obviously hold themselves to such a high standard. Do
do you think maybe they were watching that and eager for their, maybe chomping at the bit even for their chance to go out?
Yeah, I mean that's what this time of year is all about. It's wanting to go out and show who you are and show what you can do. I know those guys. Each and every time they take the mound, that's what they want to do. But certainly in the postseason, certainly, starting here at home and the electricity that's going to be in this ballpark, they want the ball. They want to get out there and get started, as we all do. We want to get out there and get started. But take our time to prepare, and then come Saturday, we'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, with the playoff roster, usually you go a little position player heavy, but those last couple spots for your position group or even your bullpen slots, like what are you looking for in terms of adding to the roster and how they can help?
Yeah, I mean, there's, oftentimes lots of different things to look at. Do you need speed? Do you need more speed? Do you need more defense for late in the game? Whatever the case may be. Again, we're looking at all different kinds of things, and I think it's kind of nice to have the time to have a meeting about it, look at some things, and then to kind of sit down at a day or so and kind of digest it all and see if that's really how you want to go about it. And I think that's the sort of the benefit of this week is having the ability and the time to do that.
How much are you lobbying for a third catcher, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's certainly an option. Something that we've had here in the last month, and it's been, it's been a nice luxury to be able to have that sort of insurance at the end of a game, knowing that you're not going to leave yourself thin. So that's again something else that we're considering as we go through this.
Yeah, the last time the Mariners were in the playoffs, they didn't have a lefty in their bullpen. You obviously have Gabe, but given the roster look of Cleveland and Detroit, who's very heavy on platoons, do you think you need the second lefty to maybe turn guys around or combat some of the lefties that they have on their roster?
Yeah, again, all stuff we're looking at, who we're playing, that comes into play, and the lineups that we're going to see, the matchups we're going to have. So I think again, this is all the kind of stuff that you look at and talk about, you try to come up with the best decision you can at the time and the information that you have.
Yeah, this is not like the second go round, that's right, I'm saying the playoffs for this group. Your group had a few shots at it back in the day. Do you see any similarities in sort of how the city and the fan base connects to this team versus how it was before, that it fit together a few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think each situation is different. I mean, even I even think back to the years that we went. I think every situation was different. 95 was completely different than 2001. So in some ways, they are unique. But I do think there are some similarities, and I think anytime, the city of Seattle is, and the fan base here is tremendous, and when this team comes out, they come out, and this has certainly been that, this last, especially this last couple of months, that feels familiar, and just the support that we get from them, the electricity we feel in the stadium, whether it was the Kingdome or at the time Safeco Field, it was just electric, and nothing like that as a player. That feeling that you have, and being able to win, to clinch it in front of the home fans was huge as well. So just that love affair between players and fans and the team, that feels familiar for sure. That's the exciting part, and that's why we want to continue to keep playing.
Dan, unlike 22 and more so than the past 2 years, you've got a ton of players with playoff experience. I think you even ran out of lineup where every single hitter had played in the postseason before. How does that play into the preparations this week and when you get into game days?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to me, it's really just understanding what it's all going to be like. I think you can watch it on TV and see, the added excitement, but until you've experienced it and feel it and know how to handle that as a player, I think that's the difference. And guys that have been through it know what to expect now a little bit more on Saturday, and know what they've used before to sort of help them get to where they need to get mentally and physically to be able to go out and perform. And if you go through it for the first time, sometimes you can learn quickly on the job, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But I do think that experience of being in those big moments and being able to perform through those big moments, that's kind of a learned skill, and that's what experience is all about.
And the last time this team played in a playoff game here, it was 18 innings and a lot of strikeouts. just trying to force one run by hitting a homer. Do you feel like this group, though, given the talent and the hitting profiles, is more equipped to handle like the high level pitching you're going to see in the postseason versus maybe that other group, which was a lot of platoon guys, some young guys, and a lot of senior guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we've talked a lot about the depth in our lineup and you know, not only just in terms of, you know, power and the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but just in terms of, you know, good pure hitters. We have speed in the lineup, you know, top and at the bottom. We have guys, you know, throughout that can drive the ball in the gaps and drive runners in. I feel like, you know, this is a really balanced offense. And, you know, I think that's when you're at your best, is when you're balanced and you don't have just one weapon. You've got several weapons that you can, you know, use in a ball game, and that's what our offense has been able to do throughout the season. There are times, sure, where we've hit some home runs. There are times where we've, you know, not hit home runs, but still been able to win ball games. And again, we've talked about that during the season. That's the consistency you want, and that's what I think, you know, is one of our strengths, is the ability to score in a lot of different ways.
Dan, Bryce said that the difference between this team and maybe previous iterations of this team is this team has an ability to bounce back when they go down early. What do you credit that to?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I want to say the power's in the mustache, but I don't know if that's true. But no, I think it's, you know, it is something that these guys do very well. You know, the resiliency and their ability to even in mid game, you know, when their backs are up against the wall, to be able to come back and not give up. It's a trait that these guys, you know, that's what they have. It's part of their identity as a team too. And the fight, we've talked about it all season long. You know, whether it's, you know, it shows up late in the game, whether it shows up early in the game, you know, you just can't count this team out, and because they know how to fight and they know how to fight back, and you know, I think that's just a mark of our team, and I think it tells you a lot about what's in these guys, you know, in their gut and in their belly and their desire to win. And we've got guys in that clubhouse that want to win, and when you are in that frame of mind, there isn't anything that's going to deny you of that. And so these guys fight and fight hard.
Do you think that is related to that more balanced offensive approach, maybe even in previous years, trying to look to hit the homer and ask the pitching staff to hold down like a very narrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that, but you know, again, when you look at sort of the idea of grinding out at bats and making every at bat count, and you know, whether that turns into a walk, whether that turns into an 8-pitch out, all those things, you know, sort of start to accumulate on an opposing team too. So understanding the importance of each at bat, and I think these guys, they do understand that, and you know, getting on base, stealing a base, getting into scoring position, moving a guy over, like all those things can make a difference. And you know, these guys know that again, they can score in a lot of those different ways, and you know, they're never out of it. They're always going to come back and fight back and find a way.
Who's got the best mustache?
Oh, that's a good question. Man. There are some good ones, I will say. I'd have to think about that for a minute, but I don't want to single anybody out, because I know how hard it is to grow one now. So.
You're a mustache guy? You've never been
Never been no, I've never been. Whatever it takes. You think?
He'll say so too.
Yeah, well, some of us need eye black to help out a little bit. But.
We also heard today that each row might play a little bit of right field. You know, from his Hall of Fame speech, that seize the moment mantra has really become absorbed by the team. Just how special is it to have him? He's been involved the whole season, but just to have him involved in this moment today with you guys heading into the ALDS.
Yeah, you know, what a special year for Ichiro, just on so many levels, and an incredible career, an incredible person, an incredible professional, you know, just, and to have him around and continuing to give back to this organization, to the game, says a lot about Ichiro and his, you know, his being around our club all season long. It just, there's understanding his experience, what he has brought to the game, and how he shares that with guys, it makes all the difference. And I will say that we have a lot of alumni that are still a part of our organization and what they do, and seeing them around and seeing them, pour back into players, pour back into the game is awesome. So to have Ichiro today, he was out at the workout last night, and will be out in right field at times today. It's awesome. I mean, it's just really cool to number one see a Hall of Famer out there still doing it the way he is, but just tells you a lot about the person and wanting to help this club in any way he can. And so I just can't say enough about just his contributions, and we're just grateful to have him around.
Give him an AB.
Huh?
Can you give him an AB?
He'd have to okay an AB, so I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Thank you, everybody.